Long start time this morning, afternoon, day. What time zone is it? What continent am I on? Where are we? Hello, Dan. It's good to see you. Hello, Ryan Gosling. It's good to see you too. Insane cat time. Yes, this is correct. This is an apt description. If it were a puppy, it'd be even more apt. Let's see. Oh, here we go. I am Vapor Dog. I am both a wave and a vapor. What will we do? Okay, so tonight I'm going to be doing some EV Nova, and hi. We're going to be doing some EV Nova. I've already got a save set up that has a bunch of starting cash already, so we can just kind of go into like doing actual storyline stuff in there. And one of the things that happened while we were getting started and doing all that trading was I stopped in at one of the bars in the game, and Samantha Clark in a navy blue uniform came out to talk to me and said, "Hey, I see that you're really good at getting stuff from point A to point B. We'd be interested in seeing about hiring you to do that. And we specialize in bulk goods and industrial goods, and if you can keep up with our mission criteria, then we can see about doing some more specialized missions for you." I'm like, all right, another source of income, that's good. And it's a decent enough amount of income where if we have wingmates in the formation, they will be able to... I'm sorry, give me just 1 second. Be right back. Okay, so the wingmates... I don't even remember what I was going to say about that. Well, we'll get into the game in just a second here. I'm currently getting a joint set up so that I can somewhat try to relax. It's been an eventful night. That's why we're a little bit late today. No. Oh, right. Well, we've reached that technical difficulty again because I've spaced in the last 24 hours that I was supposed to have gone in here and actually grabbed the copy of EV Nova that I originally licensed and registered. So, I guess I'm not doing that just yet. Bloody hell. Yeah, I like the way you think, Ryan Gosling. Let's do some Peglin instead. We got those Peglin unlocks to do. Okay. Now that we got that updated. Steam, where did you go? Wait, what? Peglin, why are you being strangely sized? I'm so confused. It really does have a letterbox going on. Oh, that's absurd. Okay. I think we got that fixed. If not, oh well. We got both sides of the peak. And a party banana? Alright, so today we are either going for poison or defense. Start with sand arrows would be nice, but short fuse is also really good. Oh, I forgot I had the music going. Let's get that turned off. Okay. Morbid Orb. Doubles the amount of infection on an enemy. Well, if it doubles the amount no matter what, I think it's the only way I'm going to be able to get the X50 or whatever the expectation is. Got a treasure chest to the left. I don't want to accidentally go to the right. As much as I want those coins. Roundabout it is. Yep, we peg it on stream today. Take a relic. Oh. It's not very useful. We'll do this. Oh, okay. Bramball this way. Do I even have coins? No, I only have 18. Ah, a relic. Nice. Old Man Gambler Peglin. I like the Old Man Gambler Peglin. Aw, almost got that crit. Stone has no special effects. Hmm. Nah, we're gonna hold on. Refreshes on every reload. That's very little. Like, it could be a lot, but only on a very specific build, and we've already begun the poison build. This does nothing. Wow, we're doing great. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Ah. Well. Double does damage now. It did not before. Crits are going to make this do damage from behind, which makes these plants just as annoying as usual. Oh, cool. Oh, wow. That was bad. Sure. Well, at least this will deal damage. I did a lot of damage. Wow. Now that's a new one. Grants one must circle to all enemies when fired. That's terrible. Bucklorb at least still deals damage. Wow, that actually does some really good damage. Okay. Whoa, what is this? When applying negative status effects to an enemy, increase the amount applied by 1. Hmm. Not even a question. Powder collector. Okay. Step that through a little bit. Infection does way more damage than it did. Just gonna keep going with that then. Of course, the only way to actually deal that much to reach that point is going to be on a very high level boss. I guess if you can manage to do... Well, no. The base orb damage, like... Even if you deal 0, it's still gonna be really easy to accidentally kill a boss that way. This deals 60 damage each turn. And that only goes up with each version. Or at least if I upgrade this. That's wild. Alright, we're probably not even going to survive this battle, but... Oh wow, especially if that happens. Okay. Whoa. So I actually want to go for this then. Because no matter what, it's going to hit. And it's just going to keep dealing that damage. Oh, that's interesting. And I've won. That is very powerful. This is going to be pretty good as time goes by, too. Powerful, very good. Kinetic meteorite. Say goodbye to using slopes. Everything is bouncy now. Everything is bouncy now. Oops. Well, that works. That's always fun. Ooh. Yeah, sure. You find what looks like a haglin standing motionless on your path. Something about it gives you the creeps. They seem to be offering the same services as usual. What do you desire? Get rid of them rocks. Consider it done. You're less than thrilled at the price of what was paid, but your satchel is lighter with the removal of the stone. Alright. Whoa. Wait. What? Hold on. Nine Gosling, have you ever seen that happen? Oh, hold on a second. I kind of want to... Let's see if it'll let me. Okay, yeah, we're gonna pause and minimize this. Weird Peglin physics. Okay. Strange doing my own clips, but oh, that's not what I want. There we go. Yeah, take a look at that. The Haglin Satchel Challenge, where if you blow up all of the bombs, it qualifies as opening the satchel. But because I have Powder Collector, for every 30 strikes, every peg's hit, it's converted to a bomb. And I have Ambiguous Amulet, so striking inert pegs still counts as damage, because they're considered walls. So I just busted through a non-existent peg and opened this bag. I've never done that. Alright. Oh, the shield blocks Bramball. Good to know. Everything is bouncy. Oh, I need to get Overwhammer with the setup. Can target any enemy. So we're gonna go for this guy. Because we're gonna need that extra damage. Nice. Another Spinfection. Yes. Also heal, please. Also, I'm going to have to look out for a healing type orb. When your deck is shuffled, each orb's damage and crit are randomly rolled between +3 and -3. Interesting. Oh, Ambiguous Amulet and Inconspicuous Ring. So bouncers, that should have been a bouncer thing. Like, that really shouldn't have worked. We're gonna try Dungeon Die. Never used it. Oh, jeez. Gamba! You find another Peglin intensely surveying the area. Hello, I'm Haglin. Have we met before? I'm afraid I haven't quite set up shop here yet, but in the meantime I can offer you a free sample. What can I do for you? Take this rock. Oh, no inventory. Haglin squeals while taking the stone level 1 off your hands. You wonder just how many orbs Haglin has collected. You stumble onto a strange mirror with shadows flickering. Ah, remove all orbs. I could, but no. Remove a rock. Now we're getting somewhere. We've got some refresh build going, and Satchel is slowly reducing. Good stuff. Why? I didn't even aim for that. Smack. And then you teleport. Interesting. So it's not just when it's shuffled, it's at the beginning of the level too. Bob. Convert. Oh, wow, I haven't seen that one in forever. We need healing, unfortunately. Continue. Got a chest over there? Nope, we want to go left. Okay. Behave normal. Thank you. A trio of mysterious spirits pop out and surprise you on your journey. I think this little one could use our help, says one of the spirits shouts gleefully. Remove stone, upgrade infectious sting, duplicate double. Ooh. You peek into your satchel to see a shiny new double level 3 and look up to see the spirits have disappeared. Oh, that's fun. Okay, there's a shop on the left, but more rewards on the right. Which orbs do I have self-damage? Bramble. That's it, though. No. Oh well. Oh wow. That is some gnarly crit damage. Very nice. It's 0 damage. Nice. Another spinfectious sting. What's next on the map? Another fight. Still no healing, though. Bouncy ball. I love the edits that you've done with the orbs. They're good. Okay, so it doesn't even matter that I don't do critical damage. Wait. That didn't hit. Because it went in the fire? Why didn't that... that one goes... What an awful place for a refresh to end up. Apply spinfection to everything. Oh, it's a ballista boss. This won't be too bad. Okay. No matter what I do, it's gonna do some serious damage. Wow. Poison is crazy in this game. 27. 270 damage per turn, period. No matter what. In addition to whatever I'm about to do here. Poison is new since you last played. Yeah, that's intense. You're right. Upgrade this. Spinfection 2. Almost tempted to do a third. But we'll hold on to the money. Oh, need more healing. No. Oh, these are terrible. I'm just gonna do this one, I guess. It's a fun build. Okay. Base damage 1. Aw, hit the crit. So the bombs exploded did not used to calculate for shock absorber initially, like, for the throw. So the calculated damage wouldn't apply until the next time you drew the orb. But now it does it from the bombs generated during the throw if you have stuff like the powder collector. That's fun. There it is. Alright, we can heal now. Fun. Aw, half damage, but still half of 1500. Okay. Now we got some proper lifesteal. Hopefully the red orbs don't murder me. I don't even have to aim these, it's just doing damage now. Upgrade, heal, continue. Going for that boss. Oh, I love this level. I wonder if you'll see why. The hint is, you can't see. One enemy left. Ooh, Ice Circle got a visual update. That's really pretty. I do like that one. But we'll just continue. Ooh. Bombs applied. Blind. Yes. Oh. I think my bombs are going to take out those little things first. Hmm? Oh, you're fine, hon. What do you have for food? We've got a very silly Peglin build going right now. Polenta chips. How do you make that? That sounds good. Aw, I didn't want to go over there. Well. Show you the roundabout. I'm Lucky Taro Flavor. Good to see you. Thank you for dropping in. This Peglin setup is wacky tonight. May as well just try and go for those coins. Oh, it's this guy! So this is a fun... Cook polenta, then put it into a baking tray to shape it, then cut it when it's cooled, and fry it off when you want to eat it. Huh. From losing more than X HP from any individual attack or effect. Interesting. I like the big pegs. Um, oh. What is that emote? Huh. Duplicate all orbs. Hmm. Double double level 3. Might actually manage to get Inferno. No thank you. Might actually beat this boss. You barely notice an elongated figure lurking in the shadows. You hear an oddly alluring voice in your head. Do you crave power, little Peglin? Would you like to make a deal? Accept the offer for half your health and a special relic, or run away. Infernal Ingot. Steal 1 health from the selected enemy for every 5 pegs hit. I love this one. You feel a low chuckle as the long arm emerges from the shadows to hand you an unpolished gem. Stars dance on the edge of your vision as lightheadedness hits you, but suddenly you do feel an incredible new power and a new hunger. That healed me to full. That's so nice. Is that Lazzy as Shrek? Whoa, what is this? Offering. Attack distance is dependent on number of pegs hit. Higher orb levels require more hits to travel further. Deals 4 self-damage per enemy hit. Attack pierces all enemies. What is this orb? Have a good night, Milky Taro. Thank you for dropping in. Is that a cozy or a sleepy? That's a cozy. Oh, well. Glad you're getting cozy. I will mess with this orb on another run, but that one sounds interesting. Need more bulwark, to be honest. Dang. I was hoping to get more bounced off of that black hole. These 3. We all know you will. Eventually. Bucklorb. Little paw! Little toe beans. Accentuate was a fun one. We're dealing with a Minesweeper boss. Let's add that. Multi-beam. Multi-beam technology. Alright, it's this trick again. Let's get started. If I can hit that multiplier, oh, we're not gonna. We're gonna minimize her instead. Skip the roundabout. Bucklorb. Let's get bouncy. Missed. Good. Have another popsicle. Yes! I have to hope the bombs will knock this one out. Nope. Okay. There we go. Aw, really? Okay. Missed. Good. Okay. So close. Okay. No. I'll put Spin Infection 3. Double. This will do it. Got it. Now, note, that was on Crucible 1, so it's not exactly like the highest difficulty. But we got it. Hell yeah. Now, question. On any enemy, more than 50 Spinfection on any enemy, any one enemy, 50. You have to do it. How? How would you even do that? I don't know how you would do that. Alright. We are going to take a short break here. Stuck on Crucible 11. Also, hello Stratos the Greek. Good to see you. On the wall boss. The wall boss is the worst. Hi. Yeah. Alright, we're going to take a short break here, and we'll be right back. About 5 minutes. That also makes sense that on the higher Crucible levels, they have more health in general because it's all done by a multiplier. I hadn't even thought of that. So yeah, it's like, what, 7,500 on that? Managed to sit in one position long enough that I put my leg to sleep. This is why we take these breaks. Why I always say that I should get up and walk around. So, this is going to be a sec, because I'm kind of stuck at the moment. Now I'm kind of curious here as to who has played the Endgame or N++, which I want to say is either the second or third game in the lineup. I grew up in a certain time period where Flash games became relevant while I was in junior high and high school. And so I played on a lot of stuff like Albino Black Sheep and Kongregate and Newgrounds before they got completely swamped by a lot of trash. You love N++? Alright. Do you recognize the sound of hitting a crit or a refresh in this game? It's the coin noise from N++. Like, whatever sound pack they used, it's the same sound. It's really funny to me. So every time that I play this, like, I get that little urge to be like, oh, I want to go play that instead. And it's like, they're completely different types of games, but I don't know. It's a fun one. I might actually pull that one up after our second break, or I don't know. We'll see. Now, I guess the next question is: should we run a second time through Peglin? Sorry, I got my garage closing. I really wanted to do EV Nova. I wish that I had... Bloody hell, I had my keys on me. I want to say that I actually had the original copy somewhere on my flash drive. I'll have to go back to that later. Not doable right now. You know what? Let's see. This game is 1 gig. When it first came out, it was 150 meg. It's amazing that like they've added that many additional levels since then, and just the general software bloat over time. Okay. So we're gonna let that go ahead and do its thing. Jump into stream info. I'm so glad that it actually shows up and I don't have to like make something up. Get some things updated while we're waiting on this to download. This is funny, I'm marking this as speedrunner because the game is a speedrunner, but I myself am not a speedrunner. Sorry folks. Okay, let's back out of this one. Jump over here. Launch this. Go back to OBS. Game. Wow, that is loud. Okay, that's better than I expected. Dang. When did they add music? I now understand where that... Yeah, I am awake now. Okay. Oh, does that do what I think it just did? Yes, it did. Oh, no, that works. Okay. Press any key. I'm going to have to adjust my screen size. Whoa. Currently hitting buttons here when I'm not trying to. My apologies. Ready to begin? Wait, what's the jump button here? Oh, it's V. Told you I'm not a speedrunner. The floaty physics always, like, get me in this. This level gets reused a lot as far as the shape. That's really fun to like recognize that without the robots. Did I mention this game has robots? Not a speedrunner continues to speedrun the game. Oh no! Nope. What am I? Ah, I see. Oh, boing. Oh. So apparently you can hit lethal platforms to jump now. Flipped. I slipped so many times there. Got lucky. Oh no! Restart. That one's actually really tough because it's like at the end of my travel distance for most of those. Oh no, don't start back. What do we got here? Okay. Nope. This game is brutal. I keep trying to use WASD on this, and it doesn't allow for that. Barely. So this is where the game is trying to teach you the limitations of like what your movements, like how finite they can be. The idea is you're supposed to actually use the flow of speed to your advantage. A lot of the levels are designed to only be hit at speed. And trying to take it like the slow path isn't going to necessarily get you there on time. And for these levels, the starting ones, where am I? It's not as big of a deal, but it becomes an issue later. So I train for this at a higher level than I'm supposed to start. Alright, we've cleared that whole level. What do we got here? Nope. Oh, alright. What is this? Oh, okay. Alright. Global rank 62,000. Can you beat my score? Ah, I see. Ah, what? What's this? Okay. Hello. You look dangerous. What are you? I don't want to touch you. What an interesting monster. I just did the exact same thing twice. Dang it. Wait. Okay. Gotta get real finite about that one. Oh no. Key number 1. Key number 2. Key number 3. Too fast, too fast. Hide. I'm not even looking at what my score is anymore. I'm just like, give me the next level. Let's do this. Hey, G-Waifu, how you doing? I completely forgot to hit the key. Oh, no. Okay, here we go. It's good to see you. Oh, jeez. Wait, what? What happens if I just do this? Okay. You really have to grab that wall. Okay. Alright. Next. Wait, what? Okay. Success 1 out of 1. 1 out of 11? Huh. Wonder what that means. Just watching that Dungeons and Dragons movie in VRC. Ooh. I need to watch that one. Is that the new one that just came out? Nice. So, have you played D&D? Like, are you into it? And second, like, what'd you think? Ruin my time. Well. Missed the beginning and the end of the movie. Down to watch it again. I would love to do that. Circle the Moon Druid, usually a big mean fella. Always wanted to try D&D. I'm still, I don't know, I'm in a weird place about D&D, because, like, I've played a lot of it with friends, I played a lot of it with family. I grew up, like, perusing my mother's D&D tomes as a kid. $46,000. If you were to play, what class do you think you would do? And what race? makes sense. Squishy ball. Attacked by an Amogus. Oh, that's not enough! Okay, so we gotta try this from a different angle. Quite literally. Okay. Hey Busta! How's your day going, hun? Alright, we're doing a speedrunner game today, and I forgot how much I actually really like the end game. The Peglin that we were playing uses the coin sound in this as the refresh noise, or it might be the critical noise, and every time I hear it, it just makes me think of this game. So, kind of going a little bit different from our usual style of play. I'm doing something a bit more stylish. I love platformers. I love speedrunners. I'm just not good at them. Got home quickly, did a bit of the lawn. Found your mandarin tree had broken branches, lost some fruit, but there's still heaps there growing. Well, that's good. Sucks that you broke some branches, or lost some branches, but oh, hey! Alright, take two. There we go. It's winter there, so I'm assuming the weather's been messing with it. Yeah, too many fruit. Oh, there's a missile launcher there. That is not a power-up. That is a missile. Caused it to bend over. That makes sense. Do you think it's, well, let's see here. Are the fruit destroyed? Because you could always try and, like, support the branch. Also, Ryan Gosling, you said you liked this game. We should do multiplayer on this sometime, because this has actual multiplayer. Too small, a little green still. Did save a dozen to see if they're eatable. I mean, if they're not yet, like, sweet, you can at least use them for juices and stuff. Could try and make a jelly or a candy. Oh, this one's... I love the kinetic things! Wow. Okay. Little kinetic boosters are so fun. Pop. Rank 50. Well, 50k. What a strange level. Okay. Oh no! Really? So hold up. Well, is there like a little switch I'm just not seeing? There is. I see it now. It's on the corner. The other one's up there. Okay. Try and different setup here. How do I do that from that angle? So I can just go grab this. That's not hard. I'm just curious how I get the high score on that. One ways? One ways. Got it. Classic platformer. It's a level from Solomon's Key. I'm still not registering the coins in this color as not being dangerous. Red usually means bad. Just out of curiosity, yeah. What happens? Also, there might be enough time for me to just try and go... I just want to know what the switch is. It's another coin. Okay. Interesting. I'm gonna do one more on this. What am I expected to do here? Oh. That noise. I'm sorry, it's just a really good noise. So, what other moves are there? What else could I do besides just go through the middle here? It doesn't seem like there's a faster way to do that level. Just testing patience? Well, maybe. Thank you, Ryan Gosling. Sorry, we appear to be having some connectivity issues. The new router is giving me some problems. Like last night, we're gonna keep trying, and if the configuration I've got for it doesn't work tonight, I get to make a change, and we get to find out tomorrow. Also, dang, this music got intense. Okay. Ranked 15,000. I actually got a really good rank on that one. Thank you so much for the subscription and for the ongoing support. It really means everything to me. You folks are awesome. Uh-oh. What is going on here? Did OBS crash on me? Okay. Alright. Refreshing my page appears to have brought it back up on this end, so hoping that works. What a mess. Okay. Thank you, N++. That was a fun little sojourn. Yes, really quick. Alright. Fun. Transition to this real quick. Oh, geez. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what's throwing off the router in the first place that it's making me disconnect like that, because like sometimes it'll be like every 10 minutes, sometimes it'll be just hours, or like in the case of last night, I thought I had it fixed. I had actually taken the time to do some configuration on our end, and I have one more solution that I know is like an actual sane normal solution, and then the weird stuff will be like what comes next, and I don't even know entirely what other like roundabouts I would actually normally do for network infrastructure in this case, because I'm wired basically directly in, short of actually plugging another cable directly into the router from my laptop. We are as wired as I can really get, because I've run a direct cable going from the modem to this new spot. Go figure. Not entirely sure what's setting that off, and I know that Tuesdays at like 4 a.m. my time is when my ISP usually will throw out an update. So like I expect to see some funkiness but not like that. Not a 5-minute spike. Welcome back. I almost said welcome back, Beep Moop. Welcome back, G Waifu. We're having some connectivity problems, so let's see. Let's see what we want to play next. First, let's get this changed over here. Okay. Change that to just chatting for now. And we're sitting at 139. Let's go do the what you folks cooking tonight? Let's do some kingdom. Ooh, fish balls. Nice. That sounds really good. Actually, I've never tried to make that by hand. Short of like making a fritter or something, but I've never tried to make like the noodly ingredient that goes into soup. Sounds fun. Okay. It's fish and pancake mix. Throw them into the air fryer and boil them in the soup. I might have to try that. Nekonyamakon's getting an air fryer sent pretty soon here, so that'd be interesting. Okay. Food process the fish to match it up. Then mix a pancake mix. Basically like takoyaki, but with fish. And no fancy takoyaki maker thing. We're going to do Kingdom 2 Crowns, the challenge island for Fenrir. Seems thematic. Uh-oh. What just happened? OBS, don't do that to me. Yikes. I just watched my captions eat my screen. Huh. Okay. We're going to do Kingdom 2 Crowns. There's a challenge island that I found out about. Oh, I'm going to have to cancel the version that I'm on right now. That you're riding around on Fenrir, the legendary big puppy, and you have to save her puppy from the greed. And I am in the middle of a campaign, but we will... Ahoo! We're actually about to jump to the next island. Also, where's my puppy? There she is. That's my little puppy. And this is the only mount in this game that I can actually attack with. This game is so nice. I love it. And we are playing on the Norselands expansion pack with the Challenge Island. So the theme of everything around us is all like lush Nordic grasslands versus the Old English style of the base game. Also changes up some of the character classes. So base game, you end up with like basic archers, squires, and knights. In this one, you get berserkers and longswordsmen. I've been playing this one a lot lately, especially during my downtime, just because it's a really chill background game for me to run. Oh, hey. Doing some deforestation because I need to build a new battlefront right here. We're about to attack this dark portal. Yes. But who doesn't like the wolf? Also, I've destroyed everything else dangerous on the island here. The only thing left is this portal, so we're very close to actually clearing, for the first time, one of the challenge islands and being able to sail to the next one. So far, the challenges in this game don't allow you to, like, go to another place. There's danger on both sides. In this case, I've actually managed to get a lighthouse lit. I've got a basic kingdom built that can self-sustain. And I've almost managed to completely fortify this place. I know, I love that Fenrir keeps just... Oh! Ran out of coins. Okay. Thank you. Yep, send everybody forward. Go guard the front. It's super pretty. I love that it's an interactive environment too. The moon actually matters in this. When it's a full moon, the greed, the darkness that we're fighting, is the strongest. And when it's a new moon, it's usually its weakest. And then every once in a while, there's a blood moon, where the greed will launch its own assault. Here's our city. Oh, I lost both of these guys. The peasants that I have, the various, like, workers, you can choose to have a farmer or a craftsman, which is these hammers here, or an archer, or a knight. And so what I'm doing is I'm loading each of these slots with the coins necessary to pay for the object that these people will pick up. But when you initially pick somebody up, they don't have a tool, and therefore they don't have a job. I'm still paying to have my craftsman build my boat. And this one knight that's repeatedly smacking their shield, they're actually grabbing money to use as armor. It's how you fortify against the greed. It's very strange. Okay. Well, nothing to fight here. Don't do that. Okay, our engineers are moving the bomb. We're gonna run further over this way and see if we can hire some more people. Hey there. So these squires have spears to start. And they can use those to defend themselves. Oh, you're fine. We've got squires here that we've hired, and they're picking up tools and becoming archers. And if I go buy shields, they'll equip themselves with those as well. And if I pay some coins here, I can have them brew a potion that if I give to the craftsman, we'll turn them into berserkers. Here's some of those berserkers. Let's see. Oh. Ha. We're going further. To the front! Oh, here's the greed. Get ready to defend! Hell of a fight. Let's see. Thank you. Every different character class that is available has different carrying capacities. I want to say that the knights can carry like 5 coins, engineers can carry 2, archers can carry I think 8. Farmers can carry 6. And so... Or no, they can carry a lot more than that, now that I think about it. I'm not sure just how many. But those numbers don't mean a whole lot until you're like stacking groups of NPCs helping out. Oh, we got a good portion of the frame built. Very nice. And now to run back to the front. One sec. Ugh. Took a hit off my joint. Now I got flour caught in the back of my throat. I hate that sensation. Oh. Kinda looking like I might need to hire more archers. That there just aren't enough. Oh wow, that next line of defense is so far back. Gotta get those upgrades going, but kinda messed up here. To the front. Oh, I really messed up here. Archers, please get up here. Thank you. Are we safe? This is a night. Oh, there. Yep. Never mind. Those knights are really good at what they do. Alright. Let's do this. Okay. Also, apologies, I should have given a spoiler warning to anybody that hasn't played this. I guess it is the Challenge Islands, though, so if you're watching this, you're probably already aware that we're doing something that isn't starting. Stay back, pup. Stay safe. Yeah, stay with the archers. I don't like how much he's running up. Alright. Let's go. The pup made it. Place is terrifying. All the goo. It's not as scary as the other place that had, like, the goo monsters that would eat more of your character. Like, they become... They would eat your people and make your people into the greed versus just, like, ordinary damage. And then on top of that, they made it, like... They would give it a horror movie sting, so you could hear from across the entire map when one of your knights was eaten by the greed. It wouldn't just be like, oh, there's an ominous war siren or whatever, which is on its own terrifying in this. But instead would be like, oh, now it's a zombie film. Oh, have a good one. Thank you for dropping in, Nine Gosling. It was fun having you. So yeah, our current goal here is we're gonna run through the kingdom, grab any upgrades that we can, make certain that we've got our knights, and then rebuild that boat. Well, out of money. How many more pieces of wood go into this thing? Jeez! Oh, now we're buying the shields? Okay. That's pretty cool. Aw, you're all so sweet to each other. I appreciate this little community. Sorry, Fenrir. We got places to be. I know you want to wahoo, so do I. I always want to wahoo. There you go. all's quiet on the Eastern Front. How do I know? We ate everything. Let me go over here. She has so many awoos. Oh, that's too far. I just was not sure of where this one actually is. Is it just right here? Yep, I'm being silly. Our boat is complete. Now we have to wait for the engineers to get here. Hey guys. I forgot I had that music going. Alright, and we wait for everybody to get here. You folks coming? There we go. See you in a sec. Oh, this one's not... Okay. Well, heading back. I do wish there was some sort of a fast forward button for this game. Like, most of this game is about patience and waiting. I get that. And it's about time management. But there's a lot of waiting around when you get to a point where things are stable, where it would be cool to just go like, okay, push this forward at like 2x speed, please. Okay. Just crash us in the middle of the forest? Got it. That's more money than I want. You done? Portal here. And edge of the forest here. And the dock. Okay. It says, stop. I bestow on thee the bronze crown. Well, thank you. Okay. I don't need to store gems yet, because gems don't seem to exist in this version of the game. The tiniest of walls. You're so barky! That's really cute. That's right, Avu. Alright, let's go. I guess I didn't need to do that. You folks know what you're up to as well. Nice. We're just gonna have to sacrifice this one as an encampment, unfortunately. 5 engineers. I don't need more engineers yet, apparently. Cannot attack while paying for something. Got it. Oh, I just don't have the money. Okay. Well, we'll continue hunting. Alright, both the lumbers are here. Another one here. And a portal. Didn't mean to do that. Sorry. Puppy. Thank you. Smack. Peglin slapping noise. Such a pretty game. Oh, we have problems over here? Okay. Thank you for the warning, pup. Alright, we'll turn around then. What did they... Oh. Forgot what they were building for a sec. Okay, now you're scratching to the left? I don't know what you're telling me, puppy. Oh, but I hear the greed now. Let's go. Come on, everybody over here. We go back and forth and back and forth. Not able to mark these yet. Okay. Starting to rain. It's so pretty. Wow, that lightning storm is something. Which way are we facing? We're looking left. Oh, I guess looking left doesn't mean anything. Oh, you fools, let's go. Let the greed take that. You, grab a bow. Or a scythe, I don't care which, just grab something useful. Okay. not quite. Okay. How about over here? Good job. Good hunting. Also, good hunting. That's a very good short story from Love, Death, and Robots. I highly recommend. I let you folks do that on your own. Mark this tree. And time to go mark a moose. So we got a red day. Red days mean we're going to get attacked. And it's not a kind of, it's a very. So. Oops. Saw an episode of that. Yeah, it's a good one. Good hunting as an episode actually hits me very hard as a person who doesn't really feel like a woman or even a person all the time. And the little Inari goddess in that being given the body that she had in the first place, but had taken away by society, reality, capitalism, whatever you want to, if you want to look at the metaphors or if you want to look at the cold, harsh reality of the episode, bad stuff happened. But she's so charming to me. Come on, hurry up, please. Oh no, it's turning dark already. I'm not gonna get this other fence done in time. Oh, I didn't have the money anyways. You know what? Fortify this instead. There are people in the forest, let them out. Yes, I know. I know. Let's go. Let's run. We missed that moose. Can't believe we missed that moose. There are monsters in the forest, put them back. There are monsters in the forest on my tracks. I am running like hell, but they're on my little tail. I am running through the forest and staring. I couldn't keep up the rhyme. Ah! Ah! No! No scary horn. Okay, you defend from the front. Over here. Arrows. More archers, please. Oh, we're out of money. Thank you. You too, please. No? Okay, moving on then. Some of you have coins. Oh, we fought them off. Okay. Apparently it wasn't as big of a threat as I thought. Red days are usually much scarier than that. We are going to hire more archers, though. So apparently we have a shortage of them. Maybe my hunters will have something on the other side. If not, I'm gonna have to just run past them and go hunting. I always feel bad making Fenrir get to a point where she's panting. Seems rude. Alright, good for you. Guess you needed that coin more than your monarch did. See what else we can find out here. Okay. And then that takes us to the Black Rocks. Alright, let's go. Don't stop right there! This is a terrible idea and you know it. Yeah, even the puppy knows it. What are you doing? I actually had a campaign recently on this that I was playing where I lost because the deer got tired. We're gonna leave this as an open hunting grounds. Thank you. Everybody grab some shields. That was interesting. Yeah, I suppose we could use a few less engineers anyways. Or I could turn them into barbarians. That would also be good. Alright. Upgrade this wall. Head back over here. Let's see. Now, I'm a little confused because we had that disconnect earlier. Nothing's changed. I haven't done anything or made any changes to my network configuration since then. It's just stayed on. Whereas, like, last night, it kept going down. I don't know what's going on. Needless to say, I'm a little confused. Oh, wrong button. Okay. Go grab a shield. Everybody gets a shield. You're so full of awoos. It begins. Well, I didn't hit that in time. Unfortunate. Successfully repelled, though. Let's see here. What's the next wall past that? Well, that's just straight into the city. No, we're gonna put this wall back. All right. Okay, farmers don't have anything right now. Not entirely sure what just happened. Oh, apparently we lost people way out here. I see. Okay, I see you. Ain't messing with that. Nothing else here, though. Anything from the hunters? Oh, hey. That works. You and you. Get another archer's tower put up right here. It'll be nice. Little scout post. Such a little barky pup. Rawr. Here they come. Let's go. You have so far to run back. This isn't gonna go well. Well, we're going to lose engineers. Oh. That's unfortunate. Yep. Hey there. Glad you decided to come in. Next. Okay. Yep. That was a lot of dudes. A lot of gooey dudes. Thinking I'm gonna put an extra wall up right here. Like, I know we've got this really nice one, but there's no hunting to be done here, and the hunters are just wasting their days. And I don't want that. Also, we can get these farmers doing non-stop growing instead of running back to town, center town. Okay, you folks are waiting for further instructions. A lot of you. That's concerning. Okay, we are out of money again. Uh-oh. Wow. Apparently it got pretty bad out here. Very close. Second any of these finish harvesting. How about you folks? No? This is so bad. Fall back for now. Part of the problem is it's like most of my engineers. Let's go. Free upgrades. Yeah, we'll wait. Bad time for that. Instead, invest in shields. Whoa! Bloody hell! To the front! That was our only coin, wasn't it? Bite through that one. Okay. Here we go again. The little puppy is really cute. So barky, even in the most, like, distressing of times. Just happy. Little soldier, please stop taking all of my money. We need it for the rest of the kingdom. Nah, we're leaving that archer there. Okay. Come back over here. I did not mean to hand that to that person either. Well, I guess we're going back over here. Hey farmers, has anybody harvested? Nope, we're not even close. Okay, good to know. Looks like it's fall, so it's about to get a lot harder to make any kind of food, which means it's going to be difficult to get money, which means upkeep of the kingdom is going to get more and more difficult. Okay. Well, that was a waste. Hi! Hi, Koi! I can't quite read that right now. My chat's halfway off the screen so I can see what's going on. But it's good to see you. Run! Okay. Yikes. To the front! Isn't quite the front we want. Okay. Not bad. Not bad at all. Grab this person. Run back behind the wall. We're very much getting to a point where keeping up the balance of maintaining the walls of the kingdom is getting pricey. Okay, now I can actually read the messages. Had the stream open when you got home. Oh, I'm glad to see you're able to tune in. Let's focus on getting bows for everyone. Ah. Okay. Oh, out of coins. Okay. Not a bad way to run out of coins. Just need to get more of those archers out there in the first place. I think we lost a knight, which is unfortunate. They are a lot harder to replace. Very nice. Good job, Archer. Okay. Yes, I see. Fall back, everybody. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Okay, shield's here. What the heck was that? And we'll take a jog back. How was your day, Koi? I was gonna end up doing a silly little storyline bit for EV Nova tonight about the United Shipping Courier. Because I actually got that part of the storyline started right before apparently my shareware ran out. So now I have to go find my original license for the game. Then this is an ancient game. So I can actually play it on stream, because I think that's going to be a fun little story. Whole of it was decent. More mail than usual for a Thursday. Huh. Wonder why. It's always interesting how, like, those kinds of metrics stack up over time. Wednesday. Close enough. Okay. We'll go buy some more hammers. May have been a... Oh no. Koi. Be good to your body. Well, that is a lot more coins than I was ready for. Let's see. Okay, that's handy. And it's only 4 p.m. Wait, are you... Don't tell me you're still working. Oh, okay. Even so, that's a lot. Okay, gotta get more of these axemen going. Yep.